Hey everybody, tonight on the Fanatic Forum, my guest Dave Mannickley and I will do a deep dive on Thor Love and Thunder, Ms. Marvel, and all kinds of good stuff coming up in the MCU. But first, just this. Everybody, happy Friday and welcome to the Fanatic Forum. I'm your fanatic and host, George Bueller, and we got a fantastic show for you today here. Of course, we got some new comics and other loot to show you guys, and my guest, Dave Mannickley, and I, we're going to do a deep dive on Thor, Love, and Thunder, and of course, Ms. Marvel, and a bunch of other upcoming shows and movies coming up for the MCU, but I can't do that without actually having my guest on here. So, ladies and gentlemen, may I present my guest this time here. He is an improv comic, a cosplayer, a man of the cloth, and even a rocket scientist, because all of his friends love to brag on him about that one here. Ladies and gentlemen, Diamond Dave Mattingly here. Thank you for being on the show, sir.
Thank you. That's a very rousing golf clap.
Well, it's just me here, so I mean, I got a couple sleeping cats, but they don't clap. So,
yeah. All right. So I got an ovation. Then that's very fantastic. With an ovation of one, though, it's still an ovation. I love that. I might come back for an encore later.
Oh yeah. Well, thank you for being on the show. I appreciate it, man. So, of course, we've known each other for quite a while. You've been, we met at a convention. You've been a supporter of my previous show. And, of course, you've been a supporter of, Fanatic Forum since day one. And I also want to publicly thank you for hooking me up with the back of the Cereal Box Network. So, yeah. So, made lots of new friends on this. That's pretty cool. So,
excellent. And I found out this week that Back to the Cereal Box is in the top 10% globally of all podcasts. How sweet is that?
Yes. I know. That's amazing. So, yeah, folks, subscribe and like and listen to the Back of the Cereal Box podcast. Whatever you listen to podcasts, because it's everywhere. So we want to get rid of that zero and get that up into the 1%. So, yeah, because, of course, basically it's the bigger picture is that when things go well for the Cereal Box show, things will go well for, it will be a trickle-down effect. So,
yeah.
So that's the idea. So, well, thank you for being on the show. So, what have you been up to lately? Since I haven't got to actually physically see you in a while.
Was at the Imaginary Convention over the weekend, along with John Pica and a bunch of other really cool people.
Nice.
We did have our live from the con episode. That was a bunch of fun.
Yeah, that was fun. Yeah. Because I was, I didn't get to see live. So, but I was kind of, pitching along myself, like I would love to see a Last Starfighter sequel. And I know there's been talk over the years and there's been some sort of development from time to time, but still nothing concrete.
Yeah, especially with virtual reality. I mean, you're just putting on the glasses and then, being inside the video game. It seems like it's got to happen at some point.
Yeah. And of course, you just I still want to, catch up 30 years later with Alex Rogan and, how they've been doing out there on the securing the frontier and whatnot, and did they get that?
Let's see Alex Rogan be the new, what's his name, and go and recruit people.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, the Centauri. Yeah,
yeah. I knew it started with a C. Yeah, Centauri. Yeah, so he could be reverse roles, and he's out looking for the next Starfighter.
Yeah, and that's a movie I like to share with people because if they didn't get to experience it back in the day, because like my wife, she likes a lot of '80s movies, but had never seen that one before, and I was like, oh yeah, and that was a love at first, first watch. Yeah. So
it's definitely the best movie with a gung ho iguana.
It really is, but there was so much going on in that movie with just you break down the cast because I can't remember the actor's name who played Greg, and I mean, it's like he's normally played like a lot of bad guy, stuffy old dude in a suit kind of roles, or very classy sort of thing. And here he is, full on makeup, And then the Music Man is basically shilling this, galactic video game, and so it was.
Yeah, I did have one of my favorite bad guy climax lines. What do we do now? We die.
We die. Yeah, and then the sniveling prince, who the only thing cool about him was the staff.
Yeah.
So just a classic. So all right. Well, hey, before I get into showing some new comics, do you have any new loot you want to share with us?
I have some pretty cool stuff that I picked up at a con recently.
Cool. Yeah, please. Oh, nice.
Captain Carter action figure. And
that's sweet.
The Hydra Stomper.
Yes. Nice. Oh, those are lovely.
I also picked up the America Doctor Strange version.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah,
and great.
The Cha-Cha version of Nebula.
That's awesome.
And my favorite, Moon Knight. Been a fan since I started reading him in the 70s. This one did cost me a little bit, but it has a lot of really cool stuff with it here.
But I love that too, where it's got the different heads, where you go like, the darker face, that's
crescent dice, got the giant staff. And one final thing: be excellent to each other and party on, dudes.
Oh, yeah, I've seen those the Wild Stallions figures before, but yeah, that's so cool. Oh, but yeah, that Moon Knight is glorious. So congratulations on those. Woo! All right. Well, I got a few new books to share this week here. So got some pretty good stuff here. First off, from Marvel, a big #1 here. Daredevil's back. The Devil's Reign series has ended, and so now he's back in his own title again. Chip Zdarsky is still basically it's the exact same crew that's been on before. Chip Zdarsky and Marco Cicchetto doing the art, and this time basically, of course. Daredevil and Elektra are trying to rebuild the Fist, which is basically the opposing group for the Hand. And they're basically, Elektra's already gone overseas to try to do things, and Matt's still hanging out in New York trying to wrap things up from there. And of course, there's some problems that are already kind of seeming to appear already with this new organization, with some old group, and then potentially there's going to be a run-in with the Punisher, because if they're going to go after the Hand, and it's going in current time right now, so there's
the Fist versus the Gun.
Yeah, but oh man, it's set up for some cool stuff. So, but
I know they've confirmed that Charlie Cox and D'Onofrio are coming back for the Echo series. Do we know if there's going to be a new Daredevil series or not?
There is going to be a Daredevil. They haven't said like when, or hasn't said any production, but Marvel did say, they definitely want to do a Daredevil series. Jessica Jones has been announced to pop up in She-Hulk, and then apparently the reason why Daredevil is in Echo is he's looking for Jessica Jones for some reason.
Okay, cool.
So that's what I've heard about that. There is also some plans to revisit Luke Cage as well with the same actor. I can't remember, his name escapes me. They've pretty much said no to Iron Fist. Mm-hmm. The interesting thing is, though, that nothing has been said about the Punisher.
Okay.
It's noticeably omitted. Like, they definitely slammed the door on Iron Fist, said, "Thank you, sir, we're good." But no one's saying anything about the Punisher. And of course, there's, we know that they're trying to build a version of the Thunderbolts team, and Frank wouldn't be a bad choice.
Or a bad opponent.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. But it was interesting that basically all the fans want John Bernthal to come back as the Punisher. The Punisher series is available on Disney Plus. Yeah. So it's like, okay, where's Frankie? All right. DC Books here this week, a tie-in for the Dark Crisis event. Currently what's going on right now, if you're not a DC fan, There's a new crisis because that's their big tagline for everything, where the Justice League is seemingly dead, and it's a collection of like the worst of the absolute worst of their villains, and apparently they're all working for somebody, some greater, darker power that's greater than Darkseid, greater than Pariah from Crisis on Infinite Earths, greater than Necron from Blackest Night, and Barbados from Final Crisis, and so all these really super duper bad guys. Apparently, there's somebody working for them. Well, now, like the Teen Titans and kind of the next generation of heroes are who's going to have to put up with these guys. So at least. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's some good folks in there. There's a couple of veterans, like Hal Jordan is still alive because he was off planet doing Green Lantern things. And Barry Allen is MIA, but Wally West is in the role right now. So, and of course Dick Grayson's still running around too. So you got some veterans still in play. But we'll see how the new kids do things here. But there's a series of tie-ins called World Without a Justice League. And so this one is a Superman and Aquaman double feature here. And it's interesting because this is basically, if you've been reading the current Superman books, you know that basically when John was initially introduced, he was a child, probably like 10 years old or something like that, and then was abducted and taken off planet. And while he was off planet, basically the time difference, was much greater than on Earth. So basically he was kind of stuck in he went through, I guess, like a wormhole or whatever else. When he came back out, he was aged about 10 years. So, when he left, he was, like a child. And when he's back, he's almost in his 20s. So that's one of Clark's greatest, regrets is basically he missed out on his son's childhood. And this is a glimpse of what could have been.
Oh, interesting.
So
kind of like a reverse Umbrella Academy #5.
Yeah, exactly. So kind of, and apparently we found out in the second issue of Dark Crisis that the Justice League, though physically are dead, their essences are still trapped in some kind of like their own little phantom zones. So everybody's in their own little, and basically Pariah's got them all just dangling like a chandelier sort of thing like that. Straight up ripping off of Rogue Sun from Image, but
Wonder if we'll get a Dead Man's Patriot one, Rama, whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. It's possible because
Dead Man's send them back in some way if they aren't fully dead or something.
Yeah, so I don't know. We'll see how they're going to. Of course, they're all going to be brought back, but yeah. So, but it's interesting. The next thing here, definitely, this is a fun book. Some of the best books that DC are putting out are their Black Label stuff, which is basically they're for adults only kind of things. The third issue of Rogues just came out, and this is basically involving the Flash's gang of rogues like Captain Cold and Heatwave and all those guys. Basically, this is kind of an Ocean's 11 sort of heist sort of thing where it's way in the future. Everybody's a lot older, and a lot of the rogues went legit and got jobs and had normal lives, whereas Captain Cold still wanted to pull off one big heist. Still think he could. And so his bright idea is to rob Gorilla City.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Gorilla Ground looks like he went all Kingpin.
Well, yeah. See, that's the whole thing is that, Snart's information was a little outdated. So he's expecting, ancient looking city full of smart gorillas.
Right.
What he gets is completely advanced civilization full of, smart, primates acting like normal people. They wear clothes. They have jobs. Like Grodd's he's king, but he wears a suit and tie.
Yeah.
The job went pear-shaped in issue 2, and things get much worse in issue 3. But we may have a get-out-of-jail-free card here because old Leonard Snart got himself a bargaining chip that's let's say it's something that Grodd will not be able to resist. So,
okay.
But yeah,
sounds like a lot of fun.
It really is. It's a fun series, and zero Flash in here so far. We're 3 issues in, and it's just been the Rogues. So, but yeah, again, this is a not for kids book, so there is some language in there, and there is a little more bloodshed and violence than is in your average DC book. So, there you go. But yeah, worth picking up though. A couple of indies to share, definitely. This is from Vault Comics. Barbaric was a miniseries they did, I think it was last year. And it's just a hilarious fantasy take. Basically, your main character has a cursed axe that basically just wants blood all the time, wants blood and violence. But the axe talks to him. The barbarian's name is Owen. So Owen the Barbarian, not a very, that's your average name there. But this is a new one-shot called The Harvest Blades that's coming out. So the first series that came out was a 3-issue series. And so this is a one-shot that still kind of ties in what's going on. You get to see Owen, and this is Owen and his axe right here. Yeah. But yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, just great. It's great fantasy action, also for mature audiences as well here. But yeah.
The art looks familiar.
Let's see. Wilson, what's it? Robert Wilson the Fourth.
Okay. Don't ring a bell. I'll have to look him up.
Yeah, definitely very reminiscent of Francisco Francavilla a little bit, who does like a lot of the Archie and he's done a lot of Batman stuff too. But he has a very kind of 60s kind of style of art too. But yeah, so. Yeah, but I get what you mean though. Yeah, but yeah, it's a lot. So it's a fun little one shot there. We kind of get you going for like the next series that's coming up later on this year. So that should be good. And for why this is not an Adult Swim show already, but it should be. But Mullet Cop, The Flavor of Danger. This is a new one shot here because the first issue and only issue of Mullet Cop came out last year. And this is in the future where corporations have basically taken over everything, and the complete centers of the universe for everything is the mall. And so the malls are basically run by, these fellas here who are like, on these high-powered, lots of segways here.
Yeah, monster truck segways.
But it's just, crazy kind of art, just goofy stuff here, a completely goofy premise. The kind of the hub of his communications of the Mullet Cop here is a sentient microwave, which he communicates via with like a wristwatch. But yeah, it's like a supercomputer, but it's a microwave. So, yeah. And when he's not policing the mall and being Mullet Cop and doing heroic things, he runs a buffet dinner place. Kind of like a Golden Corral sort of place in the mall. So
yeah, a buffet microwave place, of course.
Well, that's the thing, though, is that the microwave that is in the restaurant is the supercomputer, but we don't use that for making food.
Okay.
So yeah, you have a different microwave for that one. Right. And speaking of microwaves, there is a handy-dandy recipe for making a microwave burrito in here if you don't know how to make a microwave burrito, but there you go. So
excellent. I used to watch a comedy cooking show of a guy who basically taught bachelors how to cook. Today we're going to make brownies and gravy. Our theme is brown powders. It was so much fun.
I love that. Oh, yeah. Is that on YouTube?
I don't know. It was on PBS like 20 years ago.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Well, I know PBS has got some streaming stuff now, so I don't know. You never know. It might be on.
Maybe so. I'll have to look it up.
Yeah. Wash those down with a good old episode of The Victory Garden or something like that, My dad used to watch that show religiously. So, yeah, that and the who was the Cajun chef? The I guarantee Justin. Oh, can't remember the last name. Justin Trudeau? No.
Oh, no, not it. But yeah, my favorite cooking show though was the Frugal Gourmet.
Oh yes, love that show.
So much fun.
Yeah, man, 80s PBS was really where it is. I tell you what.
Yeah, and Bob Ross, Mr. Rogers.
Oh. Yeah, good stuff. And last but not least here, this is a big one from Image this week, issue 3 of 8 Billion Genies. This is a fun series. Charles Soule is the writer. Ryan Brown's the artist on here who's done Curse Words and God Hates Astronauts, but very wonderful, unique kind of artwork here.
Yeah.
The whole concept, if you've not followed the other shows when I've talked about the book before, is that everyone in the world on one particular day, a genie popped up in front of you and said, I'm your personal genie and you have one wish. And within the first 8 seconds, the world changed. And so that's in the first issue. And then like the next issue is the first 8 minutes where everything changed. And then so it kind of just keeps building from there. But just a very interesting premise. A lot of fun. Of course, there's some elements of danger there from time to time too, but it's still mostly a lighthearted book. But it's supposed to be an 8-issue series. It's only 3 issues in. And last week, Amazon announced that they're picking it up for a series. So, bing, instant hit.
And speaking of genies, we're talking about a movie with wish granting and a series with Jin.
It's like that was meant to happen. It really was. So, well, hey, before we start doing our deep dive into the MCU here, I do want to give a moment to acknowledge our sponsor here, Comic Books for Kids. So we'll be right back after this.
Comic Books for Kids provides comic books to kids in hospitals and cancer centers across the U.S. It's a place where we can all work together to make sure every child has a comic book. 100% of all proceeds go towards the kids. It's about making a difference, and while they're in the hospital, allowing them to fly like a superhero, battle dragons, or rescue teddy bears. We are in every state in the country and now support over 160 hospitals. Every month, we add more.
Visit cb4k.org.
And we're back. All right. Okay, folks, so here's your alert now. Spoilers ahead. If you have not seen Thor Love and Thunder, and if you have not watched the Ms. Marvel series, all 6 episodes, you may want to turn away now because we're going to talk about these things quite a lot. So, shall we start with Thor first?
Sure. I love the goats. Oh, my goodness. I want to spin off with the goats. They were tremendous.
Being someone who grew up in Norse mythology, I have been waiting for Tooth Gnasher and Tooth Grinder to show up, and we finally get them, and oh my God, they did not disappoint.
Yeah. Did you watch the MODOK series on Hulu?
I did not. I need to watch this. I keep hearing, so...
Episode 6, MODOK goes to Asgard, and he says, oh, look, goats can fly. So he finds some goats for himself. Yeah. They don't fly, but they're the screaming, fainting goats. Oh, my goodness. It is such a funny running gag throughout. It cracks me up every time. And then we have screaming goats in Thor. Oh, my gosh. I lost it.
Well, and I there was one point, of course, a lot of people laughed at the line, but I laughed a little harder when they were, of course, they were initially brought on the ship and they were still screaming, and then Thor says about using them for meat, and they shut up. Because if we know our Norse mythology, Tooth Gnasher and Tooth Grinder basically were the way Thor flies or whatever else. And then, of course, if Thor gets hungry, he can always eat those goats, but the next day they're fine.
Yep.
So... Norse mythology's got some weird stuff in there.
Yeah. Don't even get started with Loki and all the weird things he did in actual mythology. But
yeah.
The stuff he's done in the MCU is nothing.
I always loved, too, when the Loki series was out. Of course, there was the whole, the gender fluidity sort of thing and his off-and-on relationship with Sylvie and how he's looked at love and stuff like that. And people were kind of up in arms like, tell me you've never read Norse mythology without telling me you've never read Norse mythology.
Yeah.
It's like Loki was more frivolous, he was much more of a philanderer than Zeus. And I mean,
yeah,
Zeus had, relations with people where he wasn't even human. It's like he was swans or a stream of gold or whatever else. So if those two are competing.
Yeah. Russell Crowe. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. The whole performance and when he's going down the steps, he has to pick up his skirt a little bit, even though there's no way that skirt's going to touch the ground. I just love it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't know I wanted a schmuck Zeus until I saw him.
I know. It was, of course, the thing I found hilarious too. After kind of thinking about it a little bit, it's like the last time we saw him in armor and a skirt like that, he won an Oscar for it. It was a much different film.
Yeah.
So yeah, but of course, the thing I really enjoyed.
Speaking of the metal skirt and fighting, we had that stinger at the end. And somebody had the brilliant comment of, if we're going to actually get a Hercules movie, somebody really got to get Danny DeVito to be in the movie along with him.
Oh yeah, was he like Puck or something like that, or
the coach, or I forget what his name was, but yeah, he was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and let James Woods, bring him back as Hades. I'm totally down with that.
Oh yeah, James Woods in anything, I love him.
Oh yes, I'm. Of course, we're completely off topic, but I'm intrigued by the fact that the next Dune film, they announced who they cast as Emperor Shaddam IV, Christopher Walken.
Really, I had not heard that yet. Wow.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, I was like, that could be interesting because they've always kind of portrayed the Emperor as kind of stuffy, but it's like. Now he's basically, he has the appearance of kind of a blithering idiot, very eccentric sort of thing, but he's also like very shifty and manipulative, and so it's like, okay.
And we get to see some sand walking.
Yeah, so I don't know. Well, I'm intrigued, but anyway, so just that popped up in my head when we were talking weird castings and things like that. But yes, No, one thing, of course, I enjoyed about Thor, this particular one, is that it was very much a Hemsworth family affair.
Yeah. It was great seeing Matt Damon back playing Loki. And then, going off, that wasn't a no. And he's got another thing. That was so much fun.
Yeah. And somebody, I think it was Andrea, asked last week, he's like, how did those guys survive Ragnarok?
Well, I assume they were brought there, for the show, and then they, go back to Earth now and then, and they probably weren't there on the spaceship with them and everything.
Oh, but yeah, that was just brilliant. And then I love Melissa McCarthy as Hela was an inspired choice. And then
I love wheeling out the portal and popping through it. All their cheesy play props were so much fun. Oh no, I'm turning into gold dust.
Yeah, but I know one of Chris's sons is the tiny Thor when they do the transition there. The Wolf Woman, it's the Wolf Woman's Mrs. Hemsworth, and of course his daughter is
excellent.
Yeah, and his daughter is of course Love, or I guess we haven't really have an official name for her yet.
As far as I know, her official name is Love, or at least that's what Korg says that it is.
Yeah, so that's where we're going with. But that kid there is like, okay, because I've been waiting for Eternity to pop up in the MCU.
Not the way I expected it to happen.
I know. It's like, okay, well, because they've told they changed a lot of they changed a little bit of stuff of Gore, and they changed a few key things. Of course, like in the book, he had a wife and son, not a daughter. And of course, the daughter does, he does see her once more. But yeah, he's not looking for Eternity for a wishing tree. He's building the God bomb, and it's going to kill everything all at once. So, I'm sorry, dear. Hang on.
Changed his mind there at the end.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So. But it was interesting that Eternity was kind of this, basically a wishing well, so to speak, but still the depiction of him kind of in the Buddha position, you could see the whole universe inside of him, like, and I like the whole take too. I guess now it's like anytime we're in kind of a weird space, it's just going to be a, perfectly colored skyline, and we're walking on water. So Our human minds can't take seeing this being of, great power and the entirety of the universe made up of him. So that's what we see.
A little bit like in the Moon Knight, when, you all see the afterlife as something else, whatever fits you best.
Yeah. So,
The human mind can't comprehend the reality.
Yeah, so I really like getting into the cosmic stuff there. So, but I'm wondering if this child, of course, we know she's been imbued with some sort of powers, but is she just this child resurrected with some abilities, or is this actually like eternity in the form of this child, where it's an experiment on its part? Like, hey, let's see what it's like being a kid and being a human.
Yeah, well, I think it's kind of a little of both. Eternity probably still exists, and this is a part of eternity living inside the kid.
Yeah,
something like that. A little like we were talking before the show about Starbrand. That Starbrand splits itself off, but it's always still infinite.
Right. So yeah, good point. Yeah. So it's So, but I'm excited the implications of where that could lead. So because apparently we are going to get another Thor movie. It's not going to be anytime soon, but.
Given the last two, I hope it is still Waititi who is going to take the helm. Otherwise, it would have to be somebody who could follow his vision, or just follow him at all. How do you come after be the guy on stage after the guy who just killed the audience? You can't do it. You bring him back.
Yeah, and it's funny how we tried the serious Thor and it didn't quite work out, and so we went completely the other way, and. There you go. It's a hit. So, and I don't know. There was one little Easter egg that I'm not sure if you noticed or not, but if you've ever watched the shorts they always had on the Thor DVDs, the Team Thor and Team Daryl. Yeah. Daryl was the tour guide showing everybody the broken hammer.
Oh, I didn't see that. Oh man, I didn't realize that was him.
Yep, I saw him like I know him from somewhere. Where is it? And it was like, oh yeah. So Daryl's now working as a tour guide in New Asgard. So my favorite though was the short where basically Thor has moved on doing Thor things, and Daryl's new roommate is the Grandmaster. It's comedy gold, folks. Those shorts are on Disney Plus. If you've never seen them, comedy gold.
Balls are on Disney Plus now too. Good, excellent. I knew they had some of the shorts up there, but Balls they had his too.
Yeah. So I think all because I can't remember if it was 2 or 3, but they're but they're all on there now, and I know like most of the shorts are really on there now because I know the Mandarin one's on there and some of the kind of Avengers adjacent ones. So
a non-Marvel Disney thing they just put up a couple weeks ago is the Baymax series.
Oh yeah,
like 6 or 8 episodes, and they're all 20 minutes maybe.
Okay,
they're pretty short. And they all tie together at the end, which surprised me.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. Of course, we've got now we're in our lull because after Ms. Marvel's ended, we got until August 11th or August 17th for She-Hulk.
Yep.
Yeah. So got a while to wait for that one. And of course, we've got it's November 11th is Wakanda Forever. So we know that's our next movie, and we are supposed to have a Halloween special for Marvel and the Guardians Christmas special, but no dates for those yet.
And the Marvels, we know that's going to tie into the show we just saw as well.
Yes, let's talk about that, shall we? Because there's a couple of big things that happen in that finale.
Yeah.
First
that her family knows and supports her. That's something we don't see in a lot of other superhero things.
Yeah.
And that her mom gave her the costume.
Yeah.
It was wonderful.
I know. That's the thing, too. The whole show was just very joyful. It's a lot of fun. It's a good coming of age story. But of course, it has some differences because if you're not familiar with, the Pakistani culture, with Muslim culture, if you've never seen, I've never seen a Muslim wedding before. So that was, a delight to get to see that and see the ceremony. And of course, everybody's having a good time with the reception and whatnot. So, but then, seeing kind of an authentic look at, what it's like to be, Pakistani in America, and then basically seeing Pakistan today, revisiting its history. That was fantastic as well. But some major stuff happened in a series that no one really saw coming here.
Yeah, a very nice couple of episodes, like you said, about the historical stuff and getting a look at that. But I'm really glad the Doodles came back. Mm-hmm. This episode, all the weird background stuff and things being drawn, and that was so delightful to see that come back as part of the show because it was a a wonderful character all on its own.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course, and the thing I love too is that G. Willow Wilson got a little bit of a cameo in the last episode where you're seeing all the people giving little shout outs online or whatnot. And the one person, says, it's like, she looks a little familiar. It's like, yeah. She might to you because, of course, she's one of the co-creators of Kamala Khan. So,
who I was kind of hoping they would have had in that montage was the guy from the Spider-Man. Hey, Spider-Man, do a flip. Who was also on the bus with Shang-Chi. We know he's a YouTuber. Would have been a lot of fun to see him make an appearance too.
Yeah, we might see him maybe pop up somewhere else or something like that. Or, he would be, ripe for the She-Hulk series because she's always been very, glamorous and in the media and, been basically a poster child for how gamma rays are good. So it's so weird to have that kind of dichotomy. Bruce is the bad, it's like there's a lot of baggage going on there. He had a bad childhood and everything like that. But then Jennifer's just like, hey, everything's okay.
Yeah.
So,
but of course, there's going to be free ice cream pizza at the mosque afterwards for everybody.
Yeah, I don't know what ice cream pizza is, but I'm willing to check it out because I do enjoy ice cream and I do enjoy pizza. So I don't know, but yes, let's talk about. There's two major things that happen in very short succession in this finale here.
Yeah.
One. Bruno has an announcement to Kamala about, the further, results of her genetic testing.
Mm-hmm.
And he drops a word that we've been waiting to hear in the MCU.
Yeah, we saw it briefly in Doctor Strange, maybe, I guess, or at least we certainly heard that musical theme in Doctor Strange.
Yeah. And I'm saying, if you didn't notice it, basically when, Bruno's telling her, it's like, well, there's some kind of mutation, in your genealogy there. We don't know. We're trying to, look into it, see where it is. If you noticed, a little bar of the X-Men 97 theme played there. So, it was a fun little behind the scenes thing. Amon Villani, who plays Ms. Marvel, she basically, she was so excited when this announcement, when the episode aired, and everybody knows this now. But when she read her script for the first time, really the only person she could tell and be excited about was Kevin Feige. So she texted Kevin Feige in all caps, like, "Oh my God!" So yeah. So Kamala's a mutant, probably.
Yeah. I've never really pictured her as doing anything with the X-Men, but hey, who knows?
Yeah, and one thing we were talking about that I recently found out, the creators were being interviewed and talking about their initial plans for Kamala when she was introduced was that she was going to be a mutant, and then the big event going on involved the Inhumans, and so Marvel said, "Oh, well, let's make her an Inhuman instead."
Mm-hmm.
But initially, Kamala was going to be a mutant, so.
But with her being a djinn also, I didn't think they would have any other explanation. Why would you have two? But hey, as much fun and coolness as we can put in, let's do it, But like she said, it's just another label.
Yeah.
She's not, we're all mutants in some way.
Sure. So, but yeah, it's interesting how this is kind of our first introduction to that sort of world, because Feige has said before is how his whole plan to introduce the mutants, he's been very vague the whole time, but he's basically said, I'm not doing let's open up a multiversal portal and thousands of people walk through and here comes Wolverine snickety. He's like, they've always been here. They've been here the whole time.
Like the theory that when the blip reversed, the second snap, that could have been it. But we don't. But there's so many ways that people can get powers and do things, and do we really have to have a separate one? I'm not saying that we don't need it, but it just gives us more possibilities, more things to play with.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's interesting that originally, of course, we got kind of almost like a double retconning of Kamala, because of course initially when she's introduced, it's like, oh well, maybe she's this, she's a djinn, she's of this race, and of course they change up the old clandestine group a little bit, which was kind of cool, seeing as it's a failed group that didn't last 12 issues, and so no one saw from them again. So it's like, okay, well,
yeah. I do remember reading the clandestines back in the late 80s, early 90s, whenever it came out.
Yeah, late 80s.
Oh my gosh, the clan Justine. How is so perfect? Why did they already use that name before? But then it didn't go anywhere, like you said. It's nice to see at least the name getting brought back, if not actually into the characters.
Yeah, well, it did. I think one or two of the characters in the group were like genies or of. So I mean, they didn't have to change too much, but they changed a little bit. But nonetheless, like you said, glad to see a good name being used again.
Yep.
But yeah, so we initially think she's a genie, but then like, oh no, she was a mutant, so that's how she was able to use the band. So then we also find out that that's not an ordinary band. It's
the only thing that it does. Yeah.
Yeah. So formerly it was called a Nega band when it was wielded by Captain Marvel, but they changed it later on in the 80s. It's now known as Quantum Band.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, basically,
it does let you change place with Miss Marvel, or maybe others. I don't know. But maybe you should have changed places with the Rambo, and I don't know, but we'll see.
Yeah. So, but oh
my gosh, did she just learn her shape shifting powers and she turned into then? She's looking around. Where am I? Oh my gosh, I'm in a kid's room and it's surrounded by all this fangirl stuff. No, that's actually Danvers there.
And my wife genuinely popped when Brie Larson pops in. So she was kind of hoping we get to see Brie here at the end, tie into the Marvels movie, and we sure got her. So that was a lot of fun.
But technically, they still haven't gotten to meet yet, which is weird. I thought for sure, if she shows up, they'll do some kind of superhero team up kind of deal, or be a mentor or whatever. But no, they just tag out.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, so now Carol's here back on Earth, and so where's Kamala now? So
I hope Carol wasn't in the middle of a space flight, when they swapped.
Yeah, exactly. God knows what she was doing. So, but yeah, of course, it was fun too. That it looks like she's had another hairstyle change, and looks like her suit kind of is a little altered too. So,
yeah, somebody said it looks like she might have slimmed down a lot too, but I didn't.
Yeah,
she enough of a good look to notice.
She's been posting a lot of pictures on social media and stuff like that of her progress. She's got like abs of steel right now. So, so she's your laundry and great cheese. So there you go.
For a movie and this episode in full costume, I didn't pay as much attention as I might otherwise, I guess.
Yeah, she's posted a lot of stuff on social media. It's just like how Natalie Portman's been posting a lot of, now she kind of has, but she posted some pictures while she was doing that stuff. But yeah, it's kind of like she couldn't show off her progress of her giant body change here. I'm just like, it's so striking to me because I'm used to little Natalie Portman, either Tiny Girl in The Professional, or she was little in the Star Wars movies, or she's razor thin in Black Swan, stuff like that, and then seeing her with these. Yeah, and then seeing her with these giant arms, like, oh my god.
Yeah, it's nice to see her actually be able to stretch out the role, because she wanted to get away because she was just the damsel in distress, or felt like she was kind of becoming that. But now she gets to be there and be the equal of Thor, and actually be a Thor as well.
Yeah. And it's kind of interesting, too, with that little cut scene where we see her in Valhalla and she's greeted by Heimdall, which is nice to see Heimdall again.
Yeah.
But it does kind of leave a very big door open for her, because now she's officially an Asgardian. She's in Valhalla.
Yeah.
And
she was a Thor, so she, was a god, and she is there.
Yeah.
But I was kind of surprised. I was expecting is that if she picks up the hammer again, she's going to die. And then she ends up going to the battle. I thought she was going to die there and become sort of a force ghost, there, and become an Valkyrie, like she was in the comics, or might still be in the comics.
Well, that's the thing, is that the kind of an implication for me is that, well, it's like, yeah, she's dead, but when female warriors die and go to Valhalla, they can come back as a Valkyrie. So, so we this is not the last we've seen of Miss Jane Foster. So, but yeah, it's just lots of big cosmic stuff kind of just laid on us here in this in one episode of Ms. Marvel and then the entirety of Thor here. But our MCU is getting much, much bigger here.
Mm-hmm. I was really happy to see Darcy come back as well. Like, all right, Darcy and Matt Damon are both coming back in the Thor movie. I love them.
Yeah, and Stellan Skarsgård got to pop in for a little bit too. So, yeah. And so we didn't get what was the intern they had in Dark World. I don't know, he didn't make it past one movie.
Yeah, maybe she's seeing Jimmy Woo now. Who knows?
Yeah, I know there's a lot cut from the film too. Apparently, because I think Taika originally was kind of shooting for closer to like a 220, 215 kind of runtime, and Marvel's like, nope, cut. They wanted a little bit sleeker, movie to put out. So, I know like Jeff Goldblum had a scene or two that was cut from the film, and there was somebody else that was returning. But then Lena Headey was supposedly in the film in a role that is still yet to be revealed. And then there was apparently some legal issue too that she had to sue Marvel Films over her not appearing, and some other stuff going on. So, yeah.
I liked the soundtrack of this one even more than Ragnarok. Except was great, but Guns N' Roses and then a Dio at the end, Rainbow in the Dark. I think got some really rocking stuff going on there. Pair that with the Stranger Things music we've been getting, and we got a whole rock renaissance going on.
I know, yeah. Kind of, there's such a younger audience who, if they've only heard Metallica, recently, or they might hear like Enter Sandman or something like that. Like, no, kids, there were 4 albums of metal majesty before we got the Black Album, which was the thing that just forever has altered the band, and they've never come back from it.
Yeah. Although I was totally expecting him to play Bat Out of Hell, when he was there. It seemed like the whole scene was tailor-made for that, but it's all right.
Yeah.
It's really a very nice opening guitar riff.
And I love too, basically, like Metallica's given a lot of love back to the show. Iron Maiden's given a lot of love back, because of course, he was holding Peace of Mind. Oh man, gosh, that finale was epic. I mean,
it was as long as the Thor movie, I think, or maybe
longer. Because I think it was like 220, and Thor is like just a hair over 2 hours. So
I don't remember how long Thor was. So, I knew it was kind of in the neighborhood, but that was a long episode, of course.
Yeah, of course we do know we're going to get a season 5. It's 2024.
Yep.
And I'm not sure. Have you seen the poster art?
No, I haven't.
There's a poster that's out, and it is an official one. It's not a fan art or anything like that, but it is a picture of Will, and half of Will looks like the Vecna, and the subtitle is Vecna's Revenge. So
interesting.
Yeah, because they kind of set it up where basically, it's like, okay, well, now know that everything since episode 1 all comes back to the Vecna. It's been him the whole time, and we know that Will was been touched, and he still has a sensitivity to that sort of thing. That basically makes him a channel. So,
and another new trailer this week was the Rings of Power, and that looks a lot better than I was actually expecting. It's Galadriel's younger days and stuff like that.
Yeah, because I know I think this is First Age is when the show takes place. Yeah, it's like, of course, Lord of the Rings is all Third Age stuff. So. Right. Yeah, this is
September 2nd, maybe, when it's coming out, but the trailer is out. It's been a
cool.
Days.
Okay, I saw the initial one, but the little teaser they first came out with. But okay, all right. I've been very skeptical, but I keep hearing a lot of things. Of course, they talk about like this is the most expensive TV show that's been made to date. Sort of stuff like that. So it's like, okay,
yeah,
you got a lot to live up to, but we'll see. Well, we are getting about wrapped up here. Anything else cool you got coming up here that you want to talk about or promote or anything like that?
Let's see. In a few weeks, I'll be out at a Gen Con. Indianapolis. I've been going there since the 90s.
Lucky you.
So, that's always a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, my buddy Joe Phelps, he and his wife are going to be out there. So, So you may remember Joe. He worked with me when I was with the TV station doing the Fanatic stuff there, and so yeah, you might recognize if you see they're always do like Fantasy Flight demonstrations.
Okay, yeah, I probably met him.
Yeah.
Then in 2 weeks we get Black Adam and the League of Super Pets. I think coming out the same day.
Oh wow!
No.
So yeah, I think of course Black Adam looks good, but League of Super Pets kind of looks pretty good. I don't know. It's the trailer made me laugh.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. So I really love the Pet Avengers limited series that Marvel did too.
Yeah,
where you get the Thor and Lockjaw and Speedball's cat that has the same back. All those things. It was a lot of fun when they did that.
Yeah, it wasn't. It wasn't Squirrel Girls. I can't remember his name, Mister something.
I remember him being in there. Red Wing.
Yeah, Red Wing's in there. Yeah,
I forget who else.
But yeah, and anything that has Lockjaw as part of the team, there is like I'm there. I love that dog. The only good thing about that Inhumans TV show is they got Lockjaw right.
Well, I was a big fan of Anson Mount, the actor, playing Black Bolt and Medusa and Maximus. Yeah, Maximus.
Yeah,
I've loved them in other things, and they were all three of them were amazing. The show itself, it seems like it didn't quite have a lot of direction behind it. It wasn't, as well put together as it might have been. But those three actors, they brought it. Yeah,
and of course, it was nice to at least get Anson Mount back, in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, So.
And have you been watching the Strange New Worlds?
No, I haven't. I don't have Paramount Plus, and I'm not. I always, my Star Trek fandom is very casual. I grew up on the original 6 movies, and I grew up more on Next Generation. But I've never really followed the rest of the franchise as much. I never, I watched a little bit of Deep Space Nine after basically after Sisko shaved his head and Worf got on the show and they got guns on the ship and stuff like that. So, but I never I don't think I ever watched Enterprise or Voyager or anything like that. So
yeah, so the Strange New Worlds is basically the prequel to the original series.
Yeah, I heard it's Pike, and okay, yeah. So
we've already finished, and Anson Mount is the captain.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So it's definitely worth seeing for that. And every episode has been just amazing. So the best season of any Trek ever. It's worth checking. And I found out that if you have T-Mobile, that you get a free year of Paramount.
I have T-Mobile.
Not a bad deal. You hop on their site and say, yes, I will happily accept your free year.
Yeah, I need to kind of up my I think our of course we still got our plan but I'm rocking a Galaxy 9, so and I've I know that's an old phone now by today's standards, so
yeah.
I
keep my phones as long as they will stay alive.
I do too, yeah. So if it's literally not broke, then there's no reason to fix it. So
yeah, 3 or 4 generations behind.
Thank God, I'm so old.
And since I'm working in cybersecurity, this is the first time I've had my camera on in many months. I turn everything off and disable it and unplug everything I can. Until when I need it.
Well, see, it's a special occasion then. Well, again, I appreciate you being on the show, Dave. Of course, I've always appreciated your support and your commentary on things and whatnot. So yeah, it's been fun having you on here, and we'll definitely have to do this again.
Yeah, I love it. So keep on out there being a fanatic, man.
I appreciate it, man. I sure will. So, well, folks, we're going to wrap up things for this week. So you all have yourselves a wonderful weekend, and we will see you next time on the Fanatic Forum. Take care.
Stay weird.
Yeah.